Old World Wisconsin is a historic attraction. We have 600 acres and over 60 buildings on site. Our mission is to use those buildings and to use our landscapes to create immersive environments in which guests can experience life in the past. The idea of a tavern at Old World Wisconsin has been around since the initial master plan was created back in the mid-1960s. We're excited. Wittnebel Tavern is going to be the first building that's being relocated to Old World Wisconsin in 25 years.
Part of the magic of Wittnebel's is it's only had one owner, and they didn't see fit to change it very much.
When I first walked into the tavern, it was literally like walking into a time machine.
There was a lot of physical evidence there that told that history of how the bar was used. I could tell from the floor exactly where the owners put their stool behind the bar. And I could see the wear on the top of the bar from their hands. So I knew where they stood when they were bartending. The bar top had hundreds and hundreds of little semicircular scars on the top of the bar from people slamming that dice cup down on the bar.
It didn't take a whole lot of imagination to understand that this was the perfect opportunity to reconstruct what a rural tavern experience was like in Wisconsin following the end of Prohibition.
It's very humbling, in a sense, to have an establishment that was of modest means, you know, be relocated and be a gift for generations to come.
Wittnebel's was a rural tavern located right on the edge of Old Ashippun, and it served primarily a rural farm clientele. Taverns were oftentimes kind of core places in the community. In the days before media like we know it today, the way you found out what was going on in town was to go to the tavern and ask the bartender what the news was. It was part of an informal social network that kind of knitted together the broader community.
It was communal in the sense of caring for each other in kind of a broader understanding, checking in on how cattle was doing or the crops were doing.
Taverns were social places where a lot of entertainment occurred. We had card games, dice games, dances. Wittnebel Tavern was furnished with card tables that were designed specifically for taverns that had a little pocket under the surface of the bar that you could slide your beer bottle into. So your glass wasn't on top of the table where the cards were. And that alone tells you that Wittnebel's was a card place. The shake of the day is a tavern tradition. You play a game against the owner and you shake dice back and forth.
One flop, and if you got 5 of a kind, you win the pot. Whatever it was, $20, $40, $50.
I won it once. Yeah, I think there was $40 in there, and to someone who's young, that was some good money. My grandmother would say, now don't go back to school and tell them that you play for money. So that I always would keep that kind of on the down low.
I remember one little thing we could do as children. We could ride in the beer truck as it was parked in front of the tavern, and they moved it down to the garage to pick up the empties. It took all of 10 seconds, and it was wonderful.
The relocation of the tavern was challenging in many ways. There was the issue of transporting a relatively tall structure down Highway 67 to Old World, Wisconsin. We couldn't move it all in one piece. It had to be taken apart, the first floor, second floor, and then the roof structure.
What excites me is living beer history. You're going to be able to learn about the history of beer and brewing and Wisconsin's role as a tavern state, and you're going to be able to do that with a nice cold beer in your hand.
Guests will be able to go up to the bar and order a beverage and enjoy it either in the tavern itself or in an adjacent beer garden.
It'll taste like beer, but it's going to be different than the beers that you can find at your local tap house or your liquor stores. That balance of bitter and sweet was very much a part of the beer palate in 1933 or 34.
The gift really has been that we get to look back.
To know now that legacy will just live on and on and on, that's the best possible end that could have happened.
We invite all of our guests to come and experience Wittnebel's Tavern and to enjoy a beverage that would be like those that one's grandparents or great-grandparents consumed in a tavern in the 1930s. Welcome to Wittnebel's Tavern. Cheers!